To stay with us, we have details of these and more coming up shortly. We are your election poll center. The news is streaming live on YouTube, ABC News GH2. To follow us for more news, you can as well log on to our website, abcnewsgh.com. Let's begin with our first story, straight to the Supreme Court, where the Supreme Court has ruled against Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin's decision to declare for parliamentary seat vacant, siding with a challenge brought forward by Majority Leader Alexander Afenyo-Markin. In Tuesday's ruling, the 7-member panel led by Chief Justice Gertrude Tokono delivered a 5-2 majority decision in favor of Afenyo-Markin. Chief Justice Tokono noted that a detailed explanation of the ruling will be provided later. The dispute revolves around Speaker Bagbin's interpretation of Article 97 Clause 1G and H of the Ghanaian Constitution, which he cited as the basis of declaring the seat vacant.
In a majority decision of 5-2, Lovelace Johnson JSC and Amadou Tanko JSC dissenting on the issue of jurisdiction, the plaintiff's action succeeds. The full reasons and orders of the court shall be filed with the registrar by close of day tomorrow, 13th November 2024. This is the judgment of the court.
Most grateful.
Still in matters relating to the Supreme Court, the lead counsel for Afenyo-Markin, Joe Gatti, after the ruling, addressed the media, stressing that the Constitution of Ghana has won, whereas Bagbin has lost.
Opinions, but the judiciary is the body that should interpret the Constitution. The second thing that is important in that entire the 1968 proposals was that they decided that Parliament would not be supreme. The supremacy of Parliament was not accepted. What they decided was that Parliament will be under the Constitution. And so all our constitutions since then have followed this position. In fact, the 1992 Constitution in Article 1 says that sovereignty lies in the people. That sovereignty was expressed when the people, through a referendum, voted to bring this Constitution into force. And the Constitution tells us that the supreme law of Ghana is the Constitution. Everybody else is under the Constitution. Nobody is above anybody. Everybody has a role. And so the fact that the Supreme Court interprets the Constitution does not mean that they are above anybody. In fact, there are judges sitting on the bench. One of them is my classmate. My juniors are on the bench. But once they go and sit there, even if it's my own child sitting there, I cannot but bow and give the person respect, not for the person, but for the office and for the law. And we expect every other Ghanaian to also respect the law. We don't all agree on what is said and what is done. There are several times that I've disagreed with what is said and what is done. But because of the respect for the rule of law, because of the respect for the Constitution, we just keep quiet and follow the law, hoping that if we don't agree, another opportunity will come that we'll be able to express ourselves. So what has happened today, we have not seen the reasons. We are happy because we came to court because we believed that the right thing was that the people had not by their action vacated their seats. So what has happened to that, we are happy about it. Tomorrow, the reasons will come out. And when the reasons come out, as lawyers, then we can look at the reasons and what the court has said, and then we can discuss it. In fact, the fact that the court has ruled in your favor does not mean that you agree with the reasons. You might decide that even the reasons some of the judges gave, you do not agree with it. Two of the judges talked about jurisdiction. We don't know what they said, so tomorrow we will know. And when we know, we will prepare to answer more questions in detail. But as was said by the leader, as far as I'm concerned, today democracy has won, constitutionalism has won.
And Babi has lost.
Nobody has lost.
And still on the Supreme Court ruling, Afenyo-Markin, now the majority leader, per the Supreme Court ruling today, has said he expects the National Democratic Congress side of the House and the Speaker to respect the outcome of this case so they can move on as a nation. He encouraged all parties to align with these values for the stability and integrity of the parliamentary process.
It's a moment for all of us to rally around the choice we made in 1992, democracy. Democracy requires decency, and that is the path the MPP majority caucus took to ensure that we do right to the law. Nothing more except to say that we expect our colleagues on the other side, including Mr. Speaker, to respect the outcome of this case so that we move on as a nation. All we have is the peace of the country. All we have is our democracy. And in West Africa and in Africa as a whole, Ghana shines in the eyes of the people in terms of democracy. So this is another feat we have achieved, and we must celebrate it. It's not a matter of MPP against NDC. It's a matter of constitutional, interpretation, and the court has given its verdict. We should all respect it and move on. Thank you very much. I think
do you expect the Speaker to recall Parliament on its own volition, given this emphatic?
Let the lawyers deal with the issues of law. I think that all we want is peace in the country, and we chose peace, and today we've achieved peace. That is all.
Well, let's do stay a bit long on this matter, because the Member of Parliament for Odanse Asokwa, Honorable K.T. Hammond, he's also calling to force him to show leadership in this issue. Let's take a bite of this.
What on for Michael K to come out with that?
He may have been made. I don't recall. We've been in that house for so many years. You don't recall everything. A lot of course refer to the book. I am saying that yes, he may have ruled the way you people have been telling us. We'll go back to Hansard. Yes, he's so rude. We are saying that he was wrong, except that it was not taken up in the Supreme Court. It has now been taken up in the Supreme Court. What's the point?
On the day the Speaker adjourned,
yes,
we saw some actions with some.
I thank you was pushing. Forgive me.
And you have filed a police complaint.
Yes, I have filed. We are human beings in that parliament. We are human beings. We exhibit human instincts. We are not animals, and we don't exhibit animalistic instincts. I do not understand why on the matter where my colleagues are discussing, and I wasn't actually talking to the particular Afegi man. I was talking to my nephew at forcing the minority leader. I was saying to him, Ato, it is your responsibility to make sure in the circumstance of this case, the Speaker of the House abides by the ruling of the Supreme Court. So talk to him. I mean, show leadership. That's the person I was talking to. This man came out of nowhere and started pushing me. You guys have seen the pictures, the videos, pushing. I kept.
Meanwhile, the Attorney General, Godfred Dame, who is the second defendant in the case, has told Speaker Bagbin to comply with the ruling, stressing that he has no option. And joining us on the line is astute lawyer, lawyer Kwame Adolfo. Counsel, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, my sister.
Well, actually, this is Eric.
Oh, sorry. You have a lovely voice. I thought.
I take that I take that as a compliment. But first of all, let me just ask you: was this ruling quite surprising as a lawyer from where you sit?
Look, I would say I was surprised that it weren't 5-2, and I'm curious to know what the two minority would say, which we in law said two that dissented, the dissenting two. I'd like to read what the opinion was, because normally when you dissent, you have to write an opinion, and I would like to read what the opinion is. And I'm told that by tomorrow, the full ruling will be out. We'll get to know exactly what the judges were thinking and the basis for their decision. So I'd say that in terms of the 5-2, the surprise is that there was a dissenting position. And I'm told that, again, the dissenting position arose as a result of jurisdictional ground. So if it is jurisdictional ground, then I think the court was divided as to whether you had to come to Supreme Court or you had to go to the High Court to determine that question. I think that's where the element of surprise that I do have is as to the question of jurisdiction. And otherwise, I'm not surprised because the outcome is absolutely very clear.
Council, looking at the majority decision the court took, should the Speaker even try to seek a review on this?
No. The answer is no, because 7 people sat. If the Speaker were or is to seek a review, there would be only 2 additional members added onto this panel. And even if that 2, assuming that 2 were to go with a Speaker, it will still be 5-4. So there's no point in going for a review. And again, in a parliament that is nearly ended, its lifespan is nearly up. 3 weeks maximum left. Why would the Speaker want to seek a review? There's no point. And also, in order for the whole country to move forward, I don't think it's wise or something that the Speaker will even think of doing, because it will not change anything. It will further divide the country even further. And I don't think there's any point. The position has absolutely been established now, and I think we should move on as a country.
And Council, just as you said that he well, even if he tries, he won't even yield any result. I mean, is there any other alternative that he could also take aside from this ruling?
Let me say to you, we have all been to Supreme Court at one point or the other. And you don't normally get all the time what you want. There are times you win, and there are times you don't win. But you accept it as the current position of the law, and you move on. A time may come that the Supreme Court may reconsider, revisit this decision and say, oh, we are of the view that we were wrong. The Supreme Court is the only court that is able to review its own decision. So, but for now, because the Supreme Court has spoken, all the parties, they don't have any other choice than to comply with the position of the law now, that the decision that was made by the Speaker on 17th of October is invalid, in that it was unconstitutional. And by being unconstitutional means it's now void and of no effect.
Now, Council, again, another controversial question most people have been asking is a 5-2 victory for Ofenyo-Makin. A lot of people are saying that the 2 who were not in favor of the 5 that gave rule in favor of what the Honorable Leader Ofenyo-Makin said. I just want to find out from you, what exactly should this mean? Or, I mean, what is the explanation to this, actually?
I am told that the 2 that dissented, we call it dissenting, those that dissented, they dissented on jurisdictional ground, which means they are of the view that the matter should have gone to the High Court rather than the Supreme Court. That's all. So it's just a question of forum, which we call jurisdiction. So if that is the case, then it means they were all of the same sink, except that they were wondering whether Supreme Court was the proper forum to have come rather than the High Court. I think that's the distinction. It means, I mean, at the latest tomorrow, we'll have exactly what the judges say or they were thinking. In that, you see, and let me go back a little bit. You see, the reason why there was a dissenting view on jurisdictional ground is that under Article 99, it says the High Court has jurisdiction to determine whether a seat has become vacant. So the dissenters, which is the 2, would have been of the position that, yes, if you have an issue with whether or not the seat had become vacant, you have to have gone to the High Court. I think that's the position that I am absolutely sure will be made clear tomorrow. However, where an issue concerns constitutional interpretation and Article 2(1), you don't go to the High Court. You go to the Supreme Court. So tomorrow, I'll be quite curious to know exactly what the position that the dissenting 2 took that made them decide to go the other way around. Because it's good for people like me, commentators, legal commentators like me, to know exactly the positions that the various judges took, so that we can know the way forward if this event is to repeat itself. at some point in the future.
Council, we're very much grateful for your time this afternoon, and thank you very much for helping us in this conversation. We just spoke to lawyer Kwame Adolfo, who also has given his view about the Supreme Court's ruling. I had wanted to ask him one more question, but unfortunately we don't have time, so we'll do that in a subsequent broadcast. Away from that, the Attorney General, Godfred Yeboah Dame, who is the second defendant in the case, has also told Speaker Bagbin to comply with the ruling, stressing that he has no option.
The other, as I said, it will amount to double standards and determination by the court on the matter, and the Speaker of Parliament has no option but to comply. I think that we must stop giving with one hand and taking with the other. As I said, it will amount to double standards and an exercise in contradiction. For the Speaker of Parliament, in his address to the media, say that the case raises such serious legal issues and matters bordering on governance and all that, and then refuse to take back. So this country refuse to take part in the proceedings. I think in this country we must recognize some people for who they are and what they do. This hypocrisy and double standards must cease. The Supreme Court is the final arbiter on all matters in the country, including an interpretation of the Constitution. Indeed, it's the only court solely seeks legislation to pronounce on the meaning of relevant provisions of the Constitution. And the Constitution means what the Supreme Court says it means, and nothing more. It is the same in America, and as I said, America, United Kingdom, and all advanced democracies, that is the order that they respect. There's no way a Supreme Court would give a decision in America or United Kingdom, and then the Prime Minister, apart from expressing his disagreement with the decision, or the President of America, of course, he has the freedom of expression to express his disagreement with the decision. But
still on this issue, the flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, John Dramani Mahama, expressed his belief that the ongoing parliamentary impasse could have been resolved without resorting to the court. Speaking during his fellowship with the clergy in Kumasi on Monday, November 11, Mahama emphasized the importance of dialogue and negotiation in resolving political conflict, suggesting that a more collaborative approach could have been more beneficial for all parties involved.
Supreme Court and I know some once I say Ankame Mampenia Mejidi said say Nankame Ankamema Afenyo Marking leader of MPP in Parliament Akoyi Assembly Free Supreme Court na my fresh speaker my friend leader of NDC leadership of MPP na menya asafupenyin bi any Council of State National Peace Council.
If I were the president, I would have made Afenyo Markin the leader of the NPP to withdraw the case from court. Then engage NDC leaders, the speaker, and bring in some respected clergy and members of the Peace Council to resolve the issue, so that Parliament can function effectively again. Regarding the constitutional review that President Atta Mills initiated, we will continue with it. The current situation arose due to a gap in the Constitution. If it had clearly outlined a solution, this problem would not have arisen. As stated in our manifesto, we plan to hold a constitutional validation conference to address issues like this.
Constitution way and so to make us ade awa yenti woni parliament biom enti enyoma bebre wo ho a every time a yede constitution start ye adwuma no ye hu se emra bi ntokro bi e wo constitution no bu enti o se ye so ano na ye fele san ntokro no nyina se na be ya emra no betimi aye adwuma amaye enti eno ye ade a wo hwe ye constitution na ye se ye ba ye be hold the constitutional validation conference ti adahwache enti make us say ebia ye de ba bibianka ye kasa ye besesa no hu hia biom ena afi bibi te se na esi Supreme Court ne Parliament ntem ya ndwe hu amfa nka constitutional review no mu enti na enso ne ye de abeka hu enti e be validation conference of report of constitutional review committee no ni ahwe ne edaso hia se ye be review no mu enti na enso ne ye de abeka hu enti e be
About 25 days to the crucial election, we still remain your election poll center. We're back after this. And indeed, for a comprehensive coverage of this year's election, trust ABC to deliver. We are your election poll center. Our campaign remains vote not violent. Let's do some election stories where the Ghana Freedom Party's Philip Apia Kubi, also known as Roman Father, has been disqualified from contesting in the presidential elections. The Electoral Commission said it detected a number of errors on his nomination forms. The Electoral Commission further indicated that they will not change positions on the ballot papers. Now, the chair of the commission, Jane Mensah, told journalists that on Tuesday, November 12, the late Madame Ukua Donko passed away on Monday, October 28, at the Rich Hospital in Accra.
Of CI 127, the commission wrote to the Ghana Freedom Party and provided them a period of 10 days within which to file a new candidate. Article 50 of the 4 of the 1992 Constitution reads, where at the close of nominations, but before the election, one of the candidates dies, a further period of 10 days shall be allowed for nomination. In that respect, the Commission wrote to the Ghana Freedom Party and asked them to present a new candidate within 10 days. In fulfillment of that request, the Ghana Freedom Party presented Mr. Apia Kubi, who was before then the vice presidential candidate to Madame Ukua Donko. The party presented him as the presidential candidate of the Ghana Freedom Party. He and the party went on to submit their nomination forms on the 5th of November, and our technical teams went to work immediately reviewing the nomination forms. At the end of the process, they detected a number of errors and some illegalities with the form. The candidate's attention was drawn to these errors, and the party was provided an opportunity to correct them. They did that. In the view of the Commission, it was not in our bosom to provide the political party the opportunity to correct some of the illegalities that we found on the form. In that respect, the party did not draw their attention to it because the Commission does not feel that it is in its bosom to allow any political party to correct illegalities with the form. The Commission, therefore, as at yesterday,
Meanwhile, the Electoral Commission has maintained that it will not change the position of the candidate on the presidential ballot paper following its disqualification of the Ghana Freedom Party's replacement, Apia Kubi. Now, this clarification comes amidst the concerns that further disqualification of the Ghana Freedom Party could distort the position on the ballot paper. However, addressing the media in an ongoing emergency IPAC meeting today, the EC chair, Jane Mensah, stated that the Commission will not change the numbering on the ballot paper. Joining us on the phone is the chairman of the GFP party. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Hello, sir.
Hello, good afternoon.
All right.
Good afternoon.
So, if you can hear me, I just want to find out from you what exactly, or how exactly do you feel right now after the EC saying that it has disqualified your candidate?
Very well. Initially, not the NEC has taken a decision that this the party is not contesting because of the passing on of the leader and the founder, Madame Ukua Donko. So through our national organizer, we wrote to the EC that we are not contesting, that whoever decide to come and nominate to fill a form to lead the party, we, the NEC, are not in concern with that. We are not siding with him. So we are very happy that the EC had disqualified him, though it is not through our letter. We can say it's not through our letter, through some irregularities in the filling of the form of the nomination of his nomination form. So we are happy.
Are you trying to say that indeed the party does not have a hand in this disqualification? Because earlier there have been some back and forth within some leaders within your party. So a lot of people want to know, including the general public, what exactly is your position as a chair?
Yeah, the position we have taken are that we want to give a befitting burial to our leader and our founder, Madam Ekweadonko. After we've done that, then the party will sit down and see the way forward.
So this is a befitting, I should say, way of paying homage to the founder of the party, if I'm correct.
Yes, we want to give him a befitting burial. So we are not mourning. We are not thinking.
So you are not interested in the elections anymore.
Give her a befitting burial so that after we've done that, the party will sit. We have a meeting. Then we take the next steps. Half of the party is still in existence, but all that we are saying is that the upcoming general election, we don't want to participate in it. We are focusing on how we will give a befitting burial. So for the party, it's still in existence. After we've done that, then there will be a congress to elect new executive members. Then we can elect a new flag bearer.
So how has Mr. Apiakobi been reacting to this news? Have you reached out to him? What has been his response?
No, we have not. We've not spoke with him, and that decision he took it by himself. We are not part of that decision. So you have to find out from whatever he is doing about that. After we can say that our expectation has been met by the decision of the AEC. So we are happy, and we can focus on how we can bury our mother.
All right. We're very much grateful for your time over there. Thank you so much. Addressing the media as well on the ongoing emergency IPAC meeting today, the EC chair, Jane Mensah, has stated that the commission will not change the numbering on the ballots. Let's take a bite of what she has been saying.
Decision to maintain the presidential ballot as it is. As you may be aware, and I believe all of you have representatives in the printing houses, we are almost 90% complete with the printing of presidential ballots. And you are also aware that following the passing of Madam Ekweadonko, we requested the printing houses to cease printing until the law had taken its course. Now that the presidential candidate or the nominee has been disqualified, the commission would like to inform you that the printing would proceed on the current ballot as is, in the interest of time and to save this country millions of cedis. And so our task here this morning is very simple. We are not here to change positions. We are not here to reballot. We are simply here to inform you that the commission intends to notify our printing houses.
Well, still on the Electoral Commission, it has released the final certified voter register ahead of the 2024 general election scheduled for December 7. Let's take a graphic or a look at what the EC have provided. So according to the Commission, a total of 18,774,159 voters have been confirmed as eligible to participate in the upcoming election. This figure includes three key categories of voters: biometrically registered voters, which is about 18,640,811 voters with biometric data, and who will also undergo biometrics verification on election day. Special voters also include 131,478 individuals, including personnel from security agencies and the media and the EC officials as well, who will also vote early due to their duties on election day. Let's move straight to the phone and speak to the Deputy Director of IT on Zoom, Dr. Rashid Tanko, who is the Deputy Director of IT. Good afternoon, Doc.
Good afternoon, dear.
Hello, Dr. Tanko.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Well, I can hear you, but if you can hear me clearly, I just want to find out from you, are you satisfied with the release of the breakdown as requested by your party ahead of the December polls?
Let me say good afternoon to your cherished viewers. And let me say Ghanaians should be grateful to the NDC. And you, the media, you should also be grateful to the NDC for having forced the Electoral Commission to come out with these statistics. I heard you mentioning the statistics as they published them today. So if the NDC hadn't asked for this, there was no way the Ghanaian populace was going to know about these summaries that you have just cataloged out there. And I said it the other time. How can you go to an election and you don't know the summaries? Now, these summaries also reveal, there was a startling revelation among the summaries, on which we asked them today at the IPAC about the closure of certain polling stations. Hello, can you hear me?
Go on.
Yes, I'm saying that the closure of certain polling stations, in their summaries, you will see that there's a paragraph under it, which they indicated that they have closed down certain polling stations due to certain reasons and migrated those voters into other polling stations. We asked them, for all these days or all these months and weeks that we've been working with the Electoral Commission, they have never mentioned the closure of polling stations to us. This is the first time we are hearing that. And so, therefore, we are seeking clarification of those polling stations that they have closed, because we don't know. We, as a major stakeholder, they have not informed us about it. It only came on their news release today, and that is one thing we are not going to take. And we have asked them to give a data on it. As for the issue of being satisfied with the figures, it's another thing, because we just received our hard drive from them. You remember we returned it back to them, and so we received it today. We are now going to study it and compare that one with the statistics they've just given, and then we can now say whether we are satisfied or not.
It's okay. It's okay. Dr. Tanko, the EC, in response to all of this, also have said that it will not be changing the numbers on the ballot as well. I mean, your party, specifically, have remained quite immutable, if I should use or borrow the word, that you also will resist any changes. I hope this news comes as a refreshing to your party, or refreshment, let me just say, to you and your party.
Well, the issue, that has been our position. From the onset, we made it very clear that, look, we're not going to accept any changes whatsoever on the ballot paper. No artificial realignment or no that. We're not going to accept that. And that's, well, we would have welcomed the new flag bearer to join the race. But unfortunately, they couldn't make it. And the decision they've taken, yes, is well-intentioned. We go with it. That has been our position all along. So we have no qualms with it. That is why when they raised the issue at the IPAC and said it, we said, well, as pleased by the commission, so shall it be. I mean, we go with it.
Dr. Tanko, finally, let me once again involve you in this conversation, and I know you have been following very steadily. The Supreme Court today just declared the ruling of what have been expected for a long while. What is the NDC's position or stance after the ruling? Hello, Dr. Tanko. We seem to be having some, issues with technology. We will try. Dr. Tanko, are you back? Are you back?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, so I was asking that the Supreme Court has given its ruling today. I just want to know from the NDC what your view is.
We are not surprised. We saw this coming, and that's so we are not surprised. It didn't come to us.
Hello, Dr. Tanko.
News about it. He did not surprise. We know that's what they were going to do, but we are assuring them that it will not stand the test of time. That is an absolute rule. It won't stand the test of time at all. What have they done? They've opened the floodgate for rock MPs to start misbehaving. You come to Parliament and you can decide to misbehave and say, okay, in any case, my party cannot do me anything. Nobody can take me out from Parliament unless my time elapses. and I decide to misbehave against my party and the party that brought me. It doesn't make sense. The framers of the Constitution didn't envisage this kind of ruling. And that is why we are saying it won't stand the test of time. This ruling, it won't stand any test of time at all. So now rock MPs will not get away with whatever they want to do in Parliament. That is what it's been. A party will sponsor you, you go there, and start misbehaving. The party cannot hold you. In any case, nobody can remove you. So even if the party writes and say that we have dismissed you from the party, nobody can take you away from the Parliament. You continue to be there. Or you decide to say, okay, I'm not going to be part of you people. I want to be an independent candidate in the foreseeable future. So therefore, I can start misbehaving anyhow. Is that what the Constitution envisages?
Well, Dr. Tanko, we would love to have more conversation on this, ruling. But finally, before I let you go, today marks the 4 years anniversary of the passing of your founder. May his soul rest in peace, the late Jerry John Rawlings. So far, what have the party been doing after 4 years since he passed?
Well, today we held a ritual ceremony at the party headquarters. Leadership of the party were there. We held a 1 minute silence for him across the country at the time of his passing. And then he's our founder. He continued to be our founder, and we glorify him. In fact, we adore him. He's the nucleus of the party, and so we cannot do anything without him. And therefore, we will continue to remember him in our prayers and whatever we are doing as a party. He will continue to look over us wherever he is. I mean, we believe that he's still looking over us wherever he is, and we believe that with this kind of gesture towards the Rawlings and the family. In fact, it was led by the daughter who is an MP at the ritual ceremony. Clearly, everybody loved the Rawlings in the party. You cannot be an NDC member if you don't love the Rawlings. He's the soul of the party. And then so we cannot do anything without him. And we will always remember him. We wish him continue to rest well until we meet again.
Dr. Tanko, we are so much grateful for your time this afternoon. Once again, as I said, we'd like to engage you more on this Supreme Court ruling in our subsequent broadcast. Thank you so much for spending time with us. And that was Dr. Tanko. He is the Deputy Director of IT for the National Democratic Congress. We still do remain your election post center. And as we continue this election, let's do some more election-related news. And the Center for Conflict Resolution has publicly expressed its dissatisfaction with the Electoral Commission for what it describes an unjust decision to deny the organization accreditation of participation as election observers. Now, the organization, known for its active role in promoting peace and democratic process, argued that this move undermines transparency and limits civil society's involvement in ensuring fair election. In a press conference on Tuesday, November 12, the executive director of CENCOR, Adib Sani, called out the EC for not providing adequate justification for its refusal, raising concerns about the integrity of the Electoral Commission.
Impunity as to disrespectfully refuse or deny accreditation to CSOs to observe the upcoming elections. And the worrying fact of it all is the manner in which the letter was written to us. With a text 5-line, 4-sentence letter, which abruptly impunity as to disrespectfully refuse or deny accreditation to CSOs to observe the upcoming elections.
Of 2016-2020 and in the Assembly by-election. So if you can see the verse I'm wearing, that was the verse we used.
Well, it looks like a lot of stakeholders have a lot to say with the Electoral Commission. But away from that, we are going for a quick break. We are back with some business and some other stories. To stay with us.
All be lie.
Thank you, boss. See you next week. Yo, where is my passport? Where is my passport? Yo, man, I want to Waba.
What is that,
And then
give me my passport.
Man, relax.
Relax. You made me pay for express for 24 hours, and yet it's not in.
You told me that you are telling me this. What's going on? Hello.
This man here has taken my money. That within 24 hours, he'll do my passport for me.
Oh, see, that's the same thing applies to me. He told me last night. He's telling me this week. Process. That's what they do. Yeah. Oh, madam. Please relax. I'll get for you in 24 hours.
Hey, Goroma. So you never change? Eh? You get passport for someone within 24 hours, Madam Obwa. See, the normal working hours is 9 to 5. Eh? Not 24 hours, yeah, I'm fat. You guys have made a very big mistake by trusting these people. Now, through digitalization, passport application has been made so easy. Now, you don't need to stress yourself and join any long queue for your passport. All you have to do is to log on to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs website and begin your application. By buying a passport application voucher online. Simple and easier. And very soon, all you need to get your passport will be your Ghana card.
Boss, is it true?
Yeah, Obisa. It is possible.
You yourself, I didn't know this. I feel like this.
Come on. Come on.
You're welcome back to the program. Let's do some business after this. In business, the government of Ghana, in partnership with the World Bank, will launch the Tree Crop Diversification Project on November 14, 2024 in Accra. The project, with a budget of $227.5 million US, including $27.5 million US from Ghana Cocoa Board, aims to strengthen the country's agricultural sector by diversifying tree crops, focusing on cocoa, cashew, and coconut and rubber production. The TCDP aims to address key challenges in the sector, such as low productivity, child labor, and gender inequality, while promoting sustainable economic growth. The Ministry of Agriculture highlighted that the project would reshape Ghana's agriculture future for generations. The project will focus on two main strategies: improving cocoa and other tree crops productivity and enhancing market access and private sector competitiveness. And that's all for business. Let's take a quick turn. We're back with some sports news. And in sports, said Panwa, the chairman of the National Sport Authority Board, has confirmed that the Babayara Stadium is now ready to host football matches again. Now, the stadium had been sidelined after the Confederation of African Football, CAF, revoked its license to hold international fixtures due to the poor condition of its playing surface. Now, following a period of maintenance, Panwa told Channel our respective sports team that the pitch has been improved and it's now up to the required standard. Let's do some international news after this as well. The United Nations Security Council is deliberating a British drafted resolution demanding that Sudan's warring parties cease hostilities and allow safe, rapid and unhindered deliveries of aid across front lines in borders. The conflict, which erupted in April 2023, has resulted in ethnically driven violence, widespread human rights violations, and a severe humanitarian crisis. The resolution demands an immediate halt to hostilities in offensive by the rapid support forces throughout Sudan. And we're wrapping the bulletin with some entertainment news. Do stay. in entertainment, renowned Ghanaian reggae and Afro-root artist Rocky Dawoni has been nominated for the 4th Grammy Award. His song Rise has been recognized in the Best Global Music Performance category for the 2025 Grammy Award. This solidifies his position as one of the most nominated Ghanaian artists in Grammy history. His previous nominations include his album Branches of the Same Tree for Best Reggae Album in 2015, his album Voice of Bourbon Volume 1 for Best Global Music Album in 2021, and his song Never Bow Down for Best Global Music Performance in 2023. Well, Rocky Dawoni needs to actually sit some of our Ghanaian artists down to actually explain how he does it, always getting his name on the Grammy. But